On July 1, 2026, the day China's law of the People's Republic of China on promoting ethnic unity and progress took effect, the Tibetan community in Switzerland and Liechtenstein held a demonstration and march in Zurich. Meanwhile, in Vienna, the Tibetan community in Austria joined several organizations in staging a peaceful protest outside the Chinese embassy in Austria. Participants called on the international community to continue monitoring the human rights situation in Tibet, Xinjiang, and among persecuted religious groups in China. At 4 p.m., several hundred Tibetans, Uyghurs, Christians from the Church of Almighty God, and members of Chinese house churches gathered at Wertmüllerplatz in downtown Zurich. Leaders of the Tibetan community in Switzerland and Liechtenstein, representatives of the Tibetan Bureau in Geneva, as well as representatives from the Swiss-Tibetan Friendship Association, the Swiss Uyghur Association, the Swiss-Tibetan Women's Association, and other organizations attended the rally and delivered speeches. Thinley Chuki, representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibet Bureau in Geneva, urged the international community to hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for human rights abuses in Tibet and the Uyghur region. She said that the law of the People's Republic of China on promoting ethnic unity and progress does not genuinely promote ethnic unity or social progress. Instead, she argued it uses the banner of ethnic unity to advance policies of forced assimilation aimed at gradually erasing the languages, cultures, and distinct identities of Tibetans and other ethnic minority groups. She also noted that the law contains provisions with extraterritorial implications, raising concerns that it could become another tool for the Chinese government's campaign of transnational repression. She said its potential impact extends beyond overseas Tibetans and Uyghurs to include individuals worldwide who advocate for Tibetan and Uyghur human rights and other human rights defenders. She called on the international community to closely monitor the law and urged the Chinese government to repeal it. Thomas Buckley, president of the Swiss-Tibetan Friendship Association, said the so-called law of the People's Republic of China on promoting ethnic unity and progress is not intended to foster ethnic unity, but rather to impose forced assimilation and systematically erase Tibetan identity and culture. He said that for Tibetans and other ethnic groups living under the rule of the People's Republic of China, the issue is not an abstract political debate, but a struggle for the survival of their cultural identity. Rizwana Ilham, president of the Swiss Uyghur Association and director of the Youth Committee of the World Uyghur Congress, said genuine unity does not require military force, coercion, or government control. When a government decides what language a child may speak, what religion a person may practice, or what culture an ethnic group is allowed to preserve, what is being built is not unity, but control. Speaking at the Zurich rally, Jiang Xitang, a Christian from the Church of Almighty God, said the Chinese Communist Party has long targeted religious believers, political dissidents, and human rights defenders while intensifying ideological control in an effort to dominate people's thoughts, religious beliefs, and cultural identity. She said members of the Church of Almighty God have also been victims of these policies. According to statistics released by the Church, at least 19,191 church members were arrested in 2025, and 23 died as a result of persecution. From January through April 2026 alone, at least 1,794 additional church members were arrested, with some remaining unaccounted for, leaving numerous families separated. Following the speeches, demonstrators marched from Wertmüllerplatz to the Chinese Consulate General in Zurich. Along the route, participants chanted slogans including "Stop the genocide in Tibet," "Stop the cultural genocide in Tibet," "Stop persecution," "Respect human life," "Freedom of religion," "Faith is no crime." The march drew the attention of passers-by, many of whom stopped to watch. After arriving at the Chinese consulate, representatives of Tibetan, Uyghur, and the Church of Almighty God communities led participants in additional chants calling for the protection of human rights, ethnic cultures, and religious freedom. The demonstration remained solemn and orderly throughout. The Zurich protests concluded at around 6:30 p.m. On the same day, a peaceful protest against the law of the People's Republic of China on promoting ethnic unity and progress was held in Vienna. Members of the Tibetan community in Austria, along with Christians from the Church of Almighty God and Chinese house churches, gathered outside the Chinese embassy in Austria. Participants called on the international community to pay closer attention to the law's potential impact on the Tibetan language, culture, religion, and identity, and to continue monitoring the human rights situation in Tibet. As the march and rally came to an end, the protests held that day in Zurich and Vienna also concluded. Organizers said they hope the international community will continue paying more attention to human rights issues involving Tibet, Xinjiang, and freedom of religion, and work together to promote the protection of fundamental human rights and religious freedom.